We are recording this podcast on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. We wish to pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging, and extend our respects to any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people who may be listening.
Hi everyone, I'm Priscilla.
And I'm Elise.
Welcome to Novel Feelings, where we discuss representations of mental health issues in fiction novels. Although that's not really what we're doing today.
No, it's not. So today, rather than doing book reviews, we are having a wrap-up episode for season 2. We got through it. Yay!
In the hell year that was 2021 and 2020.
Well, look, it started in a pandemic and it's wrapping up in a pandemic because the pandemic is still going, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, so look, we just wanted to reflect briefly on the second season of our podcast and talk about our plans for the future.
Yeah. So what did we do exactly? Let me refresh my memory. In 2021, we did 8 review episodes plus a bunch of bonus episodes like our novel tropes episodes and author interviews as well.
Yeah, we did. So season 1, we did 6 review episodes. It was a bit of a shorter season, but we've been very productive this year, actually. So we were doing monthly bonus episodes and then we were doing fortnightly review episodes, and that takes us to now. So lots of episodes have gone out this year.
Yeah, and season 2 was bigger in a different sense as well, in that we had guests on.
Yeah, like we had friends of the show on. We kind of expanded our networks and got to know some other podcasters and book bloggers. And we even got to guest star on a couple of other podcasts as well for some review episodes too, which was really fun. And got a couple more coming up as well. So yeah, excited. I find it to be quite fun guest starring on another person's episode because I feel like I can just show up and have fun and not do any of the work. Like I don't have to do the editing or the promotion really. I just have to sort of do my little homework piece and then it goes off into the ether.
Yeah, that's right. Though for me, it's a bit more anxiety provoking in some ways. It's like, what do you mean there are no plans? Like, I mean, look, there are plans, but not my plans. Like, I don't know what's going on. It always ends up being a lot of fun, but my anxiety is
no, fair enough. If it's someone we don't know very well too, it can be a bit tricky. Like, oh, okay, I'm a guest star. What does that mean? Oh my gosh.
I know, yeah. But as I said before, it has always been a positive experience. We've always had a lot of fun having guests on or being guests ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. And we didn't get to do that last year as well because we were just it was just us. You know, we were recording all episodes ourselves. We didn't even have like video with the recording software we were using. So it felt like we were just kind of recording over the phone and took, I think, a little while for us to kind of feel like a natural sort of rapport and banter that was going on, because it is a bit harder when you can't see each other. Like we still record remotely and except for one time where we got to record in person. That was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have had to record remotely this year as well. And thankfully, the software we use now has video. So that does make life a little bit easier.
Yeah, absolutely. We've also had various people reach out to us and it's kind of fun. It's like we have a little fan base, I guess. A base of listeners. I mean, that sounds really arrogant. Like, I have fans. I don't think so.
But like outside of our family and friends who listen to it, because, you know, I'm sure most of our, at least for the first couple of episodes, most of the people who listened were probably people who know us personally, who got guilt tripped into listening or, you know, wanted to be supportive friends. And I think now it's flipped where the majority of people who listen are people that haven't met us personally, that don't know us. Although there's still a few people that we know listen religiously. Hey, Matt. Hey, Alex. You guys rock.
We love you.
Yeah. We're not exactly at like the Joe Rogan Experience level of fandom or anything.
I don't think I can handle that sort of fame.
No. But yeah, a small but like dedicated fan base is really nice, I think.
Yeah.
And sometimes we've had people reach out to us with things like opportunities to collaborate or just wanting to say something nice or give us suggestions for books to review, which is always fun as well, though we generally don't have capacity to do that, unfortunately. I even had a student reach out to us via email a couple of months back asking us some questions about mental health representations in fantasy literature. And I'm like, oh,
yeah,
I'm happy to help. I mean, I'm not going to do your homework for you, but I'm very happy to to advise a little bit.
Yeah, point you in the right direction.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you are listening, hope you did well on that assignment.
Yes. I really hope so. Yeah, so let's maybe have a bit of a chat about season 2. Oh, yeah, maybe we can expand this to season 1 a little bit as well.
Sure.
But what have been your favourite episodes from our series so far?
Oh, okay. So one of my favorite episodes would be A Monster Calls, the very last episode we did in season 2. I feel like, that was such a good book. And Matt was so prepared and he was so enthusiastic about it. It was so fun to listen to him talk. And then what else? I really like A Duke by Default as well, just because we got to do it in the fancy studio.
We did. We got to actually record in person opposite each other with like big microphones and headphones and soundproofing and all that stuff. And yeah, it was just a fun experience.
Yeah, it felt super professional. And I think I'm so appreciative of the authors that we got to interview as well. Both Wei and Kay were so generous with their time, so we really appreciate them sharing their knowledge and experience with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's always so nice when someone comes on and is willing to like talk such in depth about their process and their views, and yeah, just really, really lovely to meet them both as well.
Yeah.
One of my favorite moments from the past few months was when we found out that Wei was going to be on Survivor.
Yes, I know. It was amazing. Thank you, Wendy. Wendy, who also was a guest on one of our episodes, actually sent me the Survivor trailer without sort of like an explanation, and then I sent it to Elise without an explanation.
You just said like, watch this, and I was so confused because like, why is Priscilla sending me the Survivor trailer? And I watched it and I think I messaged you. I was like, is that Wei? So yeah, Wei Chim did really well in Australian Survivor, and we watched every episode religiously. We got a little group of friends together and just got way too invested in Survivor, as I know I personally always do when it comes to reality TV shows. But yeah, this was particularly fun. And, Wei, if you're listening, really proud of you. Well done.
Yeah. And Survivor was, wouldn't expect it, but it was like a light in lockdown. So thank you, Australia Survivor, for that.
Absolutely. Yeah, in terms of my favorite episodes, I find it really hard because I'm honestly really proud of all of the episodes that we've put out. Even our earlier ones back in season 1, where I was still figuring out how editing worked and we didn't really have a rhythm yet. So, the first episode we ever recorded was actually episode 2 in season 1, The Surprising Power of a Good Dumpling. And we didn't have a plan going in. Like we had a few things we knew we wanted to talk about and a few ideas for segments, but we're much more prepared now than we were then.
Oh, totally.
Oh, gosh. So like we're going, should we do a recap? And then we're just trying to remember off the top of our head what on earth actually happened in the book. And
and there was me like trying to like flip through the book to remember all the summary.
Yeah. But yeah, I managed to edit that into something that made us sound confident and like we knew what we were doing, and ended up being our second episode for the season. So yeah, I hope it didn't sound too, it was a bit improvised, but I hope it came across as natural as opposed to confused.
Yes, I hope so as well. Was there anything that surprised you in this whole process?
Yeah, look, I just have to mention off the top of my head, when we had Hallie and Ellie from Read It Next on, just learning about their experiences with proms and high schools and everything. Like some of it, because in Australia we get so much American television, but just learning about things like drunk driving simulations.
Oh my God, yes. That was like the shock that you heard in that episode was real.
We also talked for a lot longer about it than what made it in the episode because it was quite a digression to learn about the level of detail. I can't believe that drunk driving simulations are a thing. Way to traumatize high school students, America. That's terrifying.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So I just had to mention that because that was such a fun and interesting conversation we had with Helly and Ellie. Did you have any surprises?
Not in terms of content, I think, but I feel like I'm just surprised at the reception that we've had. I was hoping for some sort of success, but there's a part of me that's like, this is probably just going to go off into the ether and no one outside of our friends and family would listen to it. But no, we made it this far. I was also surprised at myself. Like, it was like never in a million years I would have thought that I'd be able to do this, because I would never be able to do this in front of an actual audience. Like, there will never be a live show.
Yeah.
For more reasons than that, but I have surprised myself at how much I've enjoyed this. But then it probably helps that we are actual friends in real life, and this just feels like a planned chat.
An organized chat.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, me too. I've really enjoyed it as well. Like, it doesn't feel like work to do this stuff as well. Like, I mean, sure, it does when my computer's crashing and I have no more disk space left and Audition isn't loading anything, or I'm trying new software and it's just not doing what it's supposed to, and customer service won't respond, and then I've lost all these audio files. And that's when it feels like work. But most of the time it doesn't. Like, it's just having a really interesting conversation with you or our guests or more people, or making creative content, which we get to do online. And, we've combined two of our passions in this as well. So one thing that has surprised me, in a positive way, is the generosity of our guests and the people that we've reached out to throughout this process. Everybody has been so generous with their time, even if they were time poor, a bit anxious about the process or unsure about podcasting. Everyone's been so generous, and that's just really lovely.
Yeah. Was there anything that you didn't like? Any books that you wish you never read?
Look, I don't think there's been a single book that we've covered that I've actively disliked. I mean, in season 2 in particular, I feel like everything we read, aside from 13 Reasons Why, I quite enjoyed. In season 1, I think Fight Club was probably the low point in terms of how much both of us liked the book. But there was still something about it that was kind of intriguing, and it did mean that we got to have a really interesting conversation about why we didn't like it and what was it about it that didn't sit well with us. Same as something like 13 Reasons Why too. So even if there's been a book that we haven't thought was strong or maybe wasn't for us, it's still made for interesting conversation. The only process thing I didn't like was, as I mentioned, when everything crashes and I can't figure out what's going on. It's I'm learning as I go with this. So I'm not a podcast editor before I was doing this work.
Total props for you for doing all the editing work. I agree. I don't think there was any book that I hated with a burning passion or anything. I mean, I didn't like Fight Club, and I would never, if you said, let's watch the movie, I would whine a lot throughout that process, probably. But I'm glad I read it. I don't think there's anything I disliked about the process.
Even when I made you read A Court of Mist and Fury.
That was fine, actually. I mean, finally I know what all the references are about. Now that people are posting on Bookstagram about chapter 55. I'm like, yep, I know what that is.
Now you know. Now you know.
Yeah. I guess, suppose the part I'm probably most uncomfortable with is listening back to myself, but that's just me.
No, I get it as well. Yeah. Through the editing process, I usually end up listening to an episode maybe 4 times before it goes live as well. So by that point, I absolutely cannot stand the sound of my own voice.
Okay, well, it's been fun, and I'm glad we did this together.
Me too. But yeah, in case you hadn't noticed, we have touched on some of the challenges that we have been having since we launched the podcast in November 2020. And look, obviously, editing is very time consuming, and we don't have the resources to outsource that at the moment. Preparation for each episode takes a very long time as well.
Yeah. Like, to be fair, I feel like a lot of that is eating into your time because I don't do any of the editing. I mostly do the blog posts and sometimes Instagram.
We still both have to read the book in advance.
Yeah.
And how long does it take to typically read a book? If I'm going by my Kindle, it's usually between like 5 to 12 hours, so kind of your average range of books. So yeah, it's pretty time consuming.
Yeah, and then having to think about, like, you know, reading for discussion, I suppose, is different from reading for fun.
Yes, absolutely. You have to have more of a critical mindset. And then, of course, we have to prepare for our episodes. We record, we edit, we write blog posts, we create content for social media, we promote, and then we just do it all over again. So, yeah, there's a reason why there's such a long gap between season 1 and season 2 as well. So we have a lot going on.
Yeah, alas, we haven't suddenly become millionaires in the time.
No.
In the time we've recorded.
Alas, our podcast did not go viral and pick up sponsorship from, what are some of the podcast sponsors? We're not
Amazon.
Sponsored by Squarespace. We're not sponsored by Amazon. We're not sponsored by HelloFresh and so on. So we don't make money on the podcast. It would be nice if we did, but you know, it was never why we got into it in the first place. But you can only kind of sustain it for so long when it takes that much labor. So in case you haven't gathered that already, that means that at the moment we are not planning on a season 3. For now, it's looking like season 2 is going to be our final season.
Yeah. As much as we've enjoyed doing this, we are unfortunately adults with demanding jobs. And, you know, there might be things that we're still going to do, like author interviews, or I guess if we have a strong need to rant or, you know, sing the praises of a particular book, maybe we'll make the time to record. So never say never.
Never say never. I don't know, maybe we do go viral one day and maybe there is a push for us to record more, or if something happens, then maybe we can revitalize it, even if it doesn't end up looking exactly the same. You know, it's not a hard end to the podcast, but it's more of like a sort of ongoing hiatus, I suppose.
So maybe don't kick us off your feed.
Don't unsubscribe, don't unlike, don't unfollow.
We're still going to do things, but maybe in addition to following and subscribing to us on your podcast apps, follow us on social media as well. We're on Twitter and Instagram and Goodreads as @novel_feelings. And we plan on producing other content still.
Yes. So our major plan is to keep the Novel Feelings brand, project, whatever you call it. Our plan is to keep Novel Feelings going as a blog and I guess Instagram page primarily. So we are planning on writing more in-depth reviews that will go up on our website in our blog section. We have already started doing this, as you may have seen if you follow us on social or if you subscribe to our blog. But we are basically doing more sort of traditional written reviews, still doing a deep dive into the mental health content, as that is our focus. But rather than having this sort of audio format with just show notes on the website, we are going to have the full kind of reasonably concise blog post that goes up on the website that gives a full overview of our thoughts and feelings with the books that we read. Because we're going to keep reading, don't get me wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
Never stop reading.
That's right. We've actually started launching these reviews already, as Elise said. So please visit novelfeelings.com. And as we mentioned before, follow us on social media, particularly Instagram at this stage.
We'll always post announcements on Instagram when we do have a new blog post going up on the website. And we'll probably be doing like little mini reviews or something to kind of tie in with that. So if you don't want to read the full review, you can kind of get at a glance, a sense of what we think and feel about the books that we do review by posting things like star ratings, quotes, brief insights and thoughts and so on to our Instagram page. So we really want to grow that and to make sure that we still have a voice out there, because I still love doing this. I just can't commit to continuing the podcast for now.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Anyway, we are really, really grateful to everybody who has made Novel Feelings a success. We love our audience. You guys are fantastic, and we've really appreciated all of the lovely comments, the reviews, the emails, everything that has come through this process. It's been so great to connect with you all, and we really hope that you enjoy the blog posts and our Instagram and Twitter content, because we want to keep connected with you all. We want to know what you think and what you feel, and we want to know what books you're reading as well. So please, do keep engaging with us, because we love it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, we can never get enough of book recommendations, so keep sending those our way.
Yes, just keep in mind we might not be able to write up a review for every book that we get recommended.
Yes, that's right. But yeah, overall, it's been great, folks. Wait, that's the ending of Looney Tunes, isn't it?
That's all, folks.
That's all, folks.
That's all for now, folks.
Yes. And I guess that wraps us up for today. Thank you so much again to everyone who has listened, followed, rated, reviewed, DM, emailed, tweeted, and all that.
So please remember to check out novelfeelings.com for the blog. You'll see our existing episode summaries there, links to further reading, and our mental health resources page, where you can learn more about getting support for you or someone you care about, or to learn more about mental health in general.
And if you like us, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts, and let us know if you want to hear more from us. More reviews and more listens equals increased likelihood that the show can go on.
Yes. No guarantee, but it definitely would help. And if you want to ask us a question or chat, you can send us a message via our website or social media. As we mentioned, we're on Instagram, Twitter, and Goodreads at novel_feelings.
You can also find me online. Maybe. It depends on the seasons, apparently. I am at Paved with Books with an extra S at Instagram. Currently, it is on hiatus again. I'm still there.
Always in the background, even if you're not posting.
That's right.
Well, thank you so much for listening, everybody. We couldn't have done it without you all, so we really appreciate it, and we hope that you can still engage with us in some way in the future.
Yeah, thank you, and take care.
Take care, everyone. Thanks. Bye.